Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mariana and I'm happy to have you here. Today I'm starting my new video, my May cross-stitching update, and from this day on I want to change my approach to my stitching routine in terms in which designs I'm going to be working with. I've been thinking about it and I've been talking about it for a while, I think from the middle of April. So before we jump into how I'm going to do things from now on, at least for a while, I want to tell you a quick story, what happened and how I arrived at this decision. It's nothing major. I just want to make my stitching routine more interesting for me, and I think it would be more interesting for you. So I guess if you've been with me for a while, you know that I divided my month into like 3 periods, and I had 14 designs split over those 3 periods, and they repeated primarily month after month since I think February. And somewhere in the middle of April, I've noticed that I start to stall working with my current whips. It's not that I didn't like them, I just didn't want to progress them as much as I could. I was postponing trying to do something else and then thinking that I will gain up on what I've missed, but it never happened the way I thought it would. That's why I decided that there must be something wrong with the designs that I choose. And if you've seen my last video update, you've seen that I've started 3 more new patterns. I had, in the course of 10-ish days, I've had 3 new starts and I've had 2 finishes. And that's what I call a productive period. The moment I started my first kind of unplanned design, which was the Muse from Lady Stitch, it flew. Almost each of those 3 new starts, I managed to progress by around 2,000 stitches, which in my book is quite a significant and noticeable update. And then I decided to. I've been watching a lot of videos of different other YouTubers who are doing cross stitch, and they are playing various games. And for a while I didn't think about adding any games to my stitching routine. And I'm not gonna be like, I don't feel like playing with other people or something like that, but a share of gamification I think will spice things up for me, and that will mean also that I will work on all of my whips, which are probably over 60 at this point. I haven't counted them yet. So I've been thinking about different approaches, and at first I didn't have a clear idea how I'm gonna do that. I was thinking maybe I will leave a few of my routine processes and I will be just updating them with whichever whip I feel like working on in this particular moment. But then I decided to categorize all of my processes into different categories. I've decided to split them according to colors, designers, what else? Themes, seasons. All in all, I've got 20 categories. I'm not gonna be dwelling on all of them right now, not to spoil the fun. And because maybe in the process I will be adding and taking away some processes, I have just like a draft how it's gonna look. And this is my first try at my new approach to stitching. I call this video, let's say, rotation or game. More of a rotation, Purple Delight. Why is it called Purple Delight? I mean, it might be obvious, maybe not, but I love purple colors. I like purple palette, and I decided to scan all of my whips and then point out a few which are like designed or which lean into purple more than into different colors. That's why you're seeing this design on your screen as the first one. It is called Dual Flame. It is designed pattern by Anastasia Ermakova, a Ukrainian designer. I bought this pattern a while ago, more than a year ago. I started it also more than a year ago, and it has been lying in my collection, my stash, unrequired, because I had my decade processes running, and I maybe some of the designs you will see here have more subconscious relation to purple. Why I distinguish this design as a Purple Delight whip, I don't know, but it is my perception. And well, if you look at the pattern, it has its fair share of purple colors, and that's why I decided to start this video from this design. I'm gonna show you like I think nine designs which belong to my Purple Delight rotation. I'm not gonna be dwelling into much detail. I'm just gonna tell the name if I remember, show you the preview, and the percentage according to which the design is done. As we proceed with this new rotation, I'm gonna be telling you more about the design as I progress it, because some of them I haven't touched for a while, so I don't quite remember how it feels working with them. So Dual Flame, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be the first one that I'm going to work with in this say period, over this period. I'm just showing you in random order, and then we'll see which one I will work with during these few days. So moving on. The second design, in my case, it is a replica of Merejka. It's called Midnight Reflections. I'm gonna show you a preview on the screen of my tablet. This is how the design will look like when finished. On the one hand, it has like a orange, brown, yellowish palette prevailing, but if you look at the background, at the sky, at the city, it has its fair share of purple too. That's why I want to work with it. Also, I think I started it back in 2023, and I didn't work with it much because it is stitched on count 18 Ada, and I felt my usual unwillingness to work with it, but then I gave it another try. I even wanted to restart it, but then I gave it another try, and the combination of 18 count Ada and I think it's Rosage or Royal floss is favorable. The stitches are quite satisfactory. I mean, they are even. So I will continue it, and before it wasn't in any of my rotations, and the last time I worked with it was back in 2024, which is two years ago, so it's high time. Besides, I do like the design. I want to work with it, so that's why it's time to give it like to breathe in another life. It is done by 10% at this point. Moving on, I don't remember the exact name of this design. I call her Purple Queen. It is a design, one of the circles by Stitchingland. When finished, it's gonna look like this. I think, oh, I'm only 6% through. I'll work with it, 3 days. I mean, not really, 2 more. It all started, this section started with this design. I've been having it in my mind for a while. I just wanted to work with her, but since I had my other decades rotation, I didn't want to stray away from it. And then I thought, why not come up with a category and just progress this design whenever I like, whenever this category comes up in my fortune wheel, because still there's an element of surprise. I input all of my 20 categories into the fortune wheel, and then according to whichever category it brings up, I'm going to be working with that set of designs over a month or maybe more, because some of the categories have over 20 designs in them. So Purple Queen from Stitchingland. This one, I'm so bad with the names. I just call it Purple Summer. It is a designer patterned by Ameli Stitch. I started it last summer and I haven't worked with it since. It is progressed by 4%, and I really like it and I want to work with it. So that's why it is in my, it's gonna be in my rotation. This is The Bond by Letty Stitch. I also started it a while ago. I think it was back in 2024. And I wanted to start with her face because I always have this unexplained fear about how the face of the main character will turn out. That's why I started from the middle. I finished her face and then I moved to the bottom. Why is it purple? Because she has like purple-ish armor, and I think the background is going to be in dusty purples. Honestly, I added it to my Purple Delight rotation today when I was going through all my processes, and I decided, why not? I've been thinking about her, but I didn't have the room to put her into, I mean, to work with her. So at this point it's almost 7% done. It hasn't a large pattern. I mean, it's gonna be like this. So the Bond is going to be in my rotation too. This one you've seen because it's been a frequent guest in my decades, starting with February. It is A King of Flowers by Luca S. At this point it is almost 18% through. This is how the design is going to look, and well, I think my choice, my addition to this rotation is quite obvious. It has a lot of purple spectre colors, so I want to work with it. Besides, the combination of Twilight Canvas and of Luca S Plus is supreme. Every time I take it, it just flies. This one you haven't seen. hold up, I'm just trying to figure out which way is it. Oh, it's this. You haven't seen, I mean, probably you've seen it when I was showing you all of my whips. Once again, I don't remember the precise name. It is a designer pattern by Volkova, and it is such a beautiful design with figs and a beetle, and of course the figs are purple. That's why it's in this rotation. I mean, this design is very interesting to work with because it has so many unique blends. I like working with blends. The most difficult part about this design is the half stitch, because I'm stitching it on like milk colored Monica from Ubelhor, and the floss color kind of blends with the canvas. Besides, there isn't just one color. I mean, on camera it's more obvious that there's another color next to this cream color half stitch, and it's hard not to make a mistake. But even if I make one, I don't think it's gonna be that obvious and that dramatic. So that's this design will be added to my rotation. Also, I want to let's put it that way. Last year I bought a pattern from, once again, Anastasia Ermakova, which is the iris flower. She has this beautiful botanic collection with different sorts of flowers, and I think iris is one of the oldest ones, or somewhere in that area. It will look like this. At this point I haven't started it yet. I've just prepared it, and it's been waiting in my stash since last summer. Last summer I had this urge to make many starts, and then somewhere in between I got tired, and some of my designs that I planned to start didn't get the opportunity to become my whips. And that's the story with this iris. I'm not showing the canvas because maybe I will make some changes when I plan to start it. I will show it to you all together when I decide to work with it. But that's the final, at this moment, the final Purple Delight member. The final member of Purple Delight group or rotation that I wanted to share with you in this intro. So, and then there's going to be also my monthly project, which are my projects which are less than around 6,000 stitches, that have less or around 6,000 stitches left. They belong to my monthly projects, and I try to finish them in the course of the month, and then I show you the finish by the end of the month. So there's going to be one more, since we're talking about different designs. I'm going to show you the preview because I didn't prepare it for a while. I thought I might not show it. It's going to be, I don't remember again how the right name of the design. I'll call it Purple Dragon or Lantern Dragon. I have like 5.9 thousand left to finish it, so that's gonna be the final member of this rotation. I don't know, maybe some of the designs will be repeating. Maybe I'll finish them in the course of the first 10 days. Who knows? Not sure how it's gonna go, but just wanted to give you an idea of what I'm going to be working with during these 10 days of May. And I'm back with some progress on my Purple Delight whips. The first project that I want to start this parade with is design from Stitchingland. I don't know the original name, but my pet name for this design is Purple Queen, because I mean it's a queen and she's wearing purple and surrounded by some background which features purple colors. I started it back in summer of 2025, and honestly I think I worked like 2-3 times on this design. I don't remember how many percent I started with, maybe 6. This is, as you understand, the color palette. The floss is already tangled because, you know, it's a work in progress, but you can see that the colors are absolutely stunning, just as much as the design is. So you probably still remember it because you saw it a couple of seconds ago. The only part that's been ready was this middle part of her dress, and this is the part I've been working on. I've been building it. Honestly, the design, the project, the process, overall the process is so pleasant in every single regard that I didn't want to put it aside. On the one hand, I didn't want to put it aside. On the other, I just couldn't wait to work with some of my other projects. So I managed to add almost 900 stitches to this design, and it's already reaching the 11% progress point. I don't know what else to say about this design, otherwise it's absolutely stunning. I think that most of the, I don't know, I mean, I haven't worked with too many of Stitchingland's designs, although I have quite a few in my stash. And there was a period of time when I thought that I'm not going to be starting any designs from the same brand or designer, because I have already like 2 or 3 or more representatives of that producer in my whips. But now I don't think that. Kind of have my mind set on starting a few more. Well, at least one, honestly, at least one of those circles from Stitchingland, but it's going to be closer to the Halloween season because they're like darker designs, like breathtaking. I have a couple, I don't know, I mean, I'm going to be showing it to you later on. When I decide to start, if I decide to start, because you know my thoughts are like scattered all over the place. So far, I'm satisfied with how this new approach of mine is turning out. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll get bored somewhere in a couple months. Who knows? But at this point, it's all right. I'm completely satisfied, and I want to continue with the chosen path. So. 900 stitches may not be that great of a progress because, you know, when I started filming, I was kind of inspired by a few Flosstubers who show like tremendous progress, like 2,000, 3,000 stitches on the same design, and I wanted to show you the same. I wanted to show you some wholesome pieces, some obvious progress, but it's not my cup of tea because I get bored easily, and it feels like I'm pushing myself in my hobby, which isn't a good thing because there are so many spheres in our lives where we have to push ourselves to certain limits to meet certain standards and stuff. So, and the hobby shouldn't be one of those fields. So yeah, I'm gonna show you my stitches. I mean, they are quite even. It is a 20-25 count even weave, maybe the equivalent of Ligana, but in my case it is Chinese produced canvas. I don't mind it. I think I haven't washed this one before I started. I don't remember, but so far it didn't bother me, so I could stitch easily. Maybe it was the choice of the needle, because I think I got 24 size needle, which works well with larger counts and probably harsher canvas. So yeah, let's move on. I've dedicated way too much time to this process, although it probably deserves it. I'm not gonna be making any stops here because I don't know, maybe this way it's gonna sound more natural. The flow is gonna sound more natural to some of you. So the next project I've been working on was Midnight Reflections, originally from Merejka, but in my case it is a replica. Once again, Chinese replica. I must tell you, I know that, I don't know at this point whether it is still considered a Ukrainian brand, because I know they took the production to Poland, as far as I'm concerned, because I do not follow all those things. And I do like Merejka kits. I think they are beautifully done. They are extraordinarily gorgeous. But at the same time, they are extraordinarily expensive. And that's the main reason that I have so many Chinese replicas, because I cannot afford all the designs I want in like originals. I have quite a few. Don't get me wrong, I have quite a few. Maybe I will get more. But I think that I got those designs that I have in my stash before the extreme raise in prices for Merejka kits. I remember I told you that it might not be obvious why I added this design to my Purple Delight rotation. That's why I decided to show you the color palette. As you can see, there is a fair share of purples, of course. The warmer brownish, earthy tones prevail, but I like those colors. I like working with them, I like looking at them. Before I continue with the design, I wanted to, hold up, do I have a preview? Yes. This is the brand Rose Street Cross Stitch. I wanted to show you this brand because if you've ever worked with Merejka kits, you know that they, just like Dimensions, they have a lot of blends. And the case with this Chinese designer is that they add blends separately, so you don't have to make them on your own. Like, I think starting from this part, maybe this yellow, no, but starting from these colors, the blends are already pre-made for you, pre-arranged for you, and that speeds up the process. I wouldn't say tremendously, but to some extent. I didn't want to iron the canvas because I keep hearing from many people that the dust, the dirt, whatever. I mean, since this design has been in my processes since it says 2024, but it's been longer. It's been since 2023 probably. I don't want to iron in all the particles of dust, because no matter the fact that my stitches my whips are hidden in all sorted in their separate like bags or folders, yet still, you know, we don't live in a sterile environment. That's why I do not often iron them. Back to the progress. I thought that I added less than that, but the progress says that I added 1,000 stitches in this design. I've been focusing in this area. There wasn't this boat, the outline of the boat. It wasn't there. I had this idea to move from this boat up and kind of at least stitch those people. I mean, to show you some logical piece on this design, because there aren't many. I mean, most of them are quite major, and it requires a lot of progress to show something wholesome. But I must tell you that this part hasn't been easy. I'll show you a couple of examples. This is how, I mean, this is not the most scattered part. I've been working with many colors that have been scattered like this. It's like you have a few stitches. I mean, you do a few stitches, and then you have to secure the thread and move somewhere else. We'll see what I'm talking. It's like 10 stitches here, 5 here, then a few here. And I think maybe I wasn't in the mood for that kind, because sometimes I do like working in that, like that. I do like working with scattered stitches, but this wasn't the case. I'm quite surprised that I added 1,000. I thought the progress was less than that. Yet still, I want to show you the colors, the blends. I mean, here there's a black back stitch, which is supposed to outline the side of the bridge or whatever it's called. It isn't that noticeable. On the one hand, it seems like it's useless, but when you set the design aside, it does. I mean, it serves its purpose. So although it seems useless, but it serves the purpose, and I'm glad that I've done that. Also, I've been telling you a few times that I do not like working with 18 count Aida, and this is precisely the 18 count. For a while, I thought it was the fault of the canvas, but it isn't. It's like, you know, the combination of factors. If you have 18 count Aida and CXC floss, that's gonna be a difficult situation to work with. I mean, it's not difficult. It's not like working it's not like pulling six strand floss through 18 count in dimensions kits. It just the stitches won't be as even. They will be a bit crooked because they don't have that much space, considering the thickness of the floss and the tiny nature of the canvas, if you know what I mean. But in this case, as I said, these aren't CXC floss. Maybe these are what they call cotton floss. I'm not an expert, but they are very close to DMC floss, and they are very soft and quite thin. That's why there isn't any contradiction between the small count Aida and the stitches. I'm fully satisfied with the outcome of my stitches, how even they are. I'm not that set. I'm not that kind of a perfectionist who's set on like that every single stitch should be even. No, I'm not that. But overall, I root for the evenness. So yeah, at this point, my design is at only 13%. I think that I've been able to add around 2.5, maybe 3, no, 2.5% over this one. But it still makes me happy, because otherwise, if I've been working on the 14 chosen designs that I've been showing you all the month before, I wouldn't even progress it by 2%. And this new rotation gives an equal chance to each of my, I haven't counted them, probably they are way over 60, 70, who knows, I don't. Gives all of my processes an equal chance to be worked with, and gives me that freedom of expression, freedom, I don't know, the cross stitching is supposed to relax you, and if you do that as a chore, it wouldn't be relaxing. So what's the point, right? Yeah, let's move on. I'm feeling a bit philosophical today, that's why I'm so probably scattered all over the place. I made another start. Please bear with me. I mean, I said that I was about to. I don't know if I'm gonna actually make it, but then I thought, why not? Besides, as I said, I have prepared this design last summer. This is the iris flower from Anastasia Ermakova. I have so many designs from her, but I haven't finished any. And I think the only design from Anastasia Ermakova that I worked with was jasmine flowers, but they are on printed canvas. That's quite, a different feeling. And I wanted to test it on blank canvas. So this is the color palette. It is absolutely magnificent. These are all of my favorite colors. I love purple colors in everything, and I like darker pinks, and probably all the pinks now in cross stitching. This is the camera doesn't give you a clear idea of what the canvas look like, but it isn't gray. It is, I would call it dusty lavender. And hold up, trying to decide which way is up. I have a few pieces of Murano from Zweigart. I mean, two, one darker lavender and the other is like lighter lavender. But as I said, my previous experience with Murano canvas wasn't the best, and once again, probably because I was combining it with CXC floss, and it's not a good combination. But yeah, I had this piece of canvas, and I looked at the pattern. If the pattern had uneven backstitch, I mean not counted backstitch, I would have chosen Murano, because it's hard to get in the middle of the square on Ada. But designs from Anastasia Ermakova, I'm just thinking if I'm showing you to you correctly. Maybe it's not this way. Yeah, it's this way. So what I was saying, that the designs from Anastasia Ermakova, they feature logical backstitch, so you can absolutely stitch them on Ada without any. I wouldn't say without any effort, without any trouble. Let's put it that way, without any trouble. This is the part that I've been working on. This is this side of the petal. I mean, and a bit of this one. I don't know how it's called. Maybe another petal. As you can see, there is a fair share of backstitch on this design. Actually, it has 6,000 backstitch and 12,000 cross stitch. I mean stitches, regular stitches, full stitches. No half stitches whatsoever. It has a lot of blends, but I like working with blends, especially if they are as beautiful as these. It's like dark purple and black, vibrant pink and magenta. Then there's a dark purple and magenta. I mean, the blends are breathtakingly gorgeous. My progress on this design is almost 7%. I added 11,000, yeah, I wish, 1,100 stitches. I worked on it for 2 days. Honestly, I could have been working on it more because the floss is pleasant, the canvas is pleasant, the design is pleasant. It's like everything clicks here. But on the other hand, I still wanted to work with some other projects. So I started this one because I've seen on social media that Anastasia is about to release. I mean, maybe she's not about to release. She's like in the process of making new patterns, new designs featuring flowers. But in this case, but this time it's gonna be hydrangea flowers, and she's gonna make 3 of them in different colors. And honestly, I cannot wait until she releases those designs, and I'm sure that I'm gonna buy and start them immediately. Because there's this weird fascination that I have with, I mean, I like these flowers. I like all flowers, but like lilies, roses, hydrangeas, irises especially. So what else? I mean, everything is fine. Everything is pleasant about this design. I don't know when I'm gonna continue it because I have like about 20 different rotations, but still I'm happy that I started it, and since it's in my whips, it's gonna be finished one day or another. Who knows, maybe one morning I will wake up and I will think, let's finish or progress to finish the iris from Anastasia, and I will do that. You never know, but I'm glad that it is in my whips. Moving on. The organization in this design is like probably absolutely ghastly to some of the perfectionists around you, but I'm showing it not to like revolt you, just to show you the color palette, and I'm gonna take it away quickly, not to cause you any issue. This is, I don't know, once again, I'm so bad with designer names for their patterns. I call it purple summer or something. I sometimes forget how I call it myself. I also started it. This is the design from Ameli Stitch. I started it last summer. And this is how the design is going to look like when it's finished. When I started, I had like a few stitches scattered here, so I finished these lupin flowers, and I wanted to go all the way up and find the second corner, but I mean, it's like this design is I wouldn't say it's complicated. Maybe it's a bit tricky. In which regard? In the regard that the bottom part is quite complicated because, you know, as you can see here, you have stitches scattered all around, but that's understandable because we're working with flowers. Maybe things will change. I mean, things will change definitely when I move to the left and start working on the lake. I think it's a lake. So this bottom part is quite complicated. The upper part is the complete opposite because, you know, it's half stitch. It's like in most of dimensions kits where you have a lot of the sky, and it's like hundreds of stitches of the same color. I mean, I'm gonna show it to you not to be baseless. I mean, look at this. So as I said, I was thinking about moving all the way. I even pre-gridded it all the way up, but then I got tired, maybe even a little bored, and also I was already at the point of being excited about another start. So I added, I mean, the progress is quite nice because I think when I started it once again, I was at the point of 4% with something, and now it's 9.3, so it's almost 10%. The design itself isn't that small. It is 24,000 stitches, including half stitch, back stitch. So it is one of those mid-size designs. So it's gonna take some time to finish, but still, 5% in a single run, 5% progress is great. It's a lot much better than it would have been lying in my stash waiting for 1 hour and if ever. So yeah, I'm glad I'm taking it. I don't know, it's like, you know, I have this internal, I wouldn't say battle going on. It's like I want to progress the design I haven't worked with for a while more than 1,000, but then on the other hand, I want to work with other projects at the same time. I don't know if you mean, I don't know if you follow, but there is this internal contradiction. But I think that 1,300 progress is a great progress. It's better than nothing, that's for sure. And I'm gonna be setting this design aside until the next time the Purple Delight rotation comes up. Yet another start. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, back in January, I had all those pre-planned starts. And if I'm being honest, I wasn't that much excited about those starts than I usually am about some instant, like, out of the blue starts. This is one of those out of the blue starts. This is Hydrangea from Mill Hill. But in my case, it is an original design. In my case, I had the pattern, I had the canvas, because if you remember last time, I finished the espresso and I was stitching it on plastic canvas, and I have this paper canvas in my stash. So I didn't plan to start another Mill Hill. I didn't plan to start it at least until probably Halloween. But then I was watching some Flosstube and the girl showed the girl was showing works of her mother, and her mother finished the hibiscus flower and one geranium flower, and she had them framed and I do love the series of flowers. I think they are more of a recent designs. It's like last year came out the peony, hibiscus, dahlia, and something else. I don't remember them all, but I remember that I liked them. I remember that I had the patterns, and I decided, why not? It's gonna be fast start, it's gonna be fast finish, because at this point I'm already 20% through. And that's the work of one day. I stitched 1100 stitches in this design in just one sitting. Couldn't get enough of it. Although I'm not a fan of green colors, so I started from the corner. Well, I had to go on with the green, but then I was like mixing and matching. It's like one floss of green and then one floss of those purple flowers. I haven't even looked at whether I have the beading suitable for this design, but I'm not a slave to the key. I think if I don't have a matching beads in my stash, I will choose the next best thing that I have, and no one will ever tell the difference, because people who are typical guests in my house, they are not that Mill Hill savvy. And besides the color palette, the purple hues suited my purple delight intent, so why not give yourself a pleasure of a new start? Well, at least that's how I'm trying to justify so many starts. So yeah, the design is simple, it is pleasant, and as I said, it is much more pleasant to work with on paper canvas than it was to work on plastic canvas. Although I'm not gonna say that I will never work on plastic canvas, because I have already found a few design or patterns that I want to start, and I will surely start them on plastic canvas. So I don't know, this constant strain of thoughts and ideas that we cross stitchers have. I mean, if you tell that to any other average person, they would clearly consider you crazy. I mean, anytime I show my stash to anyone, even my clothes, I mean, probably my husband is the one who's the closest to understand why I have them, although not to the full extent. But even my mom or like my friends, they do not get it. Why do I have such a grand stash of started kits and unstarted ones? So yeah, Hydrangea from Mill Hill, but my own kitting is gonna show up in some of my next videos at one point or another. You're probably tired because maybe I haven't been showing you that many that many designs before. But that's how it works. You see, when you're inspired, when it's not that sure, it stitches better. Another design. I said that I didn't have another work from Anastasia Ermakova, but I forgot that I do. It is a jewel flame. It's also her design. Also, the moment I saw it, I bought it instantly. When you look on the design, it doesn't look that it has many purple hues. I mean, it probably doesn't. It has like 3 of them, but in my logic, in my, I don't know, associations, it suits the name of the theme of my rotation. And this is the part I've been working on. Once again, I didn't want to set it aside, but on the one hand, I didn't want to set it aside because it is so pleasant and so easy. Just look at these logical strands of floss in the same color. It's like, I don't know. Shout outs to Anastasia Ermakova. I think she's among the greatest designers that I've tried so far. And I mean, just look at the face of the, I think she's a fire because it's dual flame. I think she is the fire. Just look at her face. And I'm not stitching in DMC floss. It is a mixture of different types of floss. Maybe CXC, maybe Rosage, maybe Royal. But anyhow, I've been able to, I mean, it's like a magical quantity, 1100 stitches in this design too. But in my case, it is half stitch. It is like a goblin stitch, which also speeds up the process like a lot. I like half stitch, so I know that a few Flosstubers that I watched, they say that they do not like working with half stitch that much because for some reason it irritates them. But I do like, so that's why I have so many goblin designs. I mean goblin stitch designs from Luca S primarily. And I think if I'm ever going to start a multicolored full coverage piece, it's going to be also in half stitch because I don't have the patience to finish such a large design. It's like 71,000 stitches. I wouldn't have the, maybe I would have, who knows. The design is easy. Maybe I would even stitch it in a full stitch. But once again, there comes the issue of the size, because on count 14 Ada it's 50 by 50. And if you add, like, you know, the frame is going to be 65 by 65, which is, you know, quite a huge piece, and you have to have probably a castle to fit in all the designs that I plan to finish. And on Goblin canvas, it's going to be around 30 by 30, which is manageable. You know, you can find a spot, you can find the frame, because I would love to frame it. I mean, I'm just only a bit over 5%, 5.6% through, and I'm already thinking about framing it. But still, you know, the kind of a weird thing is that each of the designs that I've shown you, I would want to work on once again. I mean, I would like to continue working on right here, right now, in the moment. And that's not it. I have chosen another rotation for my next period of May, and I want to work on those designs too. And that's, I don't know, that's that passion, that fire fuels you to create more. And I think that's great. I think, as I said, I think that at the moment I'm in the right place. So this is the final piece of my Purple Delight rotation, but I have a surprise for you. Those of you who have been with me for a while, you know that my mom also stitches, and a couple days ago she gave me this finish. I mean, it's not like she doesn't stitch as much as I do. She stitches less. She doesn't have a huge collection. I mean, primarily she borrows something of mine. I mean, I usually give her some designs that she likes, or I order something for her. But she occasionally she stitches. And this is the gorgeous piece that she's finished. It is a Lighthouse, originally from Dimensions, but I bought it as a Chinese replica. I don't know if it's Joy Sunday or some other design. She was just over my place some couple years ago, I think it was, and she said that she would like to stitch something, and she was like browsing through my collection and she chose this design, and maybe I gave it to her, I don't know. I don't remember, it was a long time ago, and I helped her find the digital pattern for it, so she started working with it. And I mean, it's been, in terms of back stitch and full stitch and half stitch, it's been finished like maybe even a year ago. The remaining part were the French knots, and believe me, they are many here, as you can see on the trees. Here in the flowers, even here in the sea. I mean, I'm not a fan of French knots, and it is the first time that my mom was working with the French knots, and I think that she's done a great job. I think that my French knots are rarely that neat. I mean, I try to substitute them with beading because I'm lazy, but the design is gorgeous. I mean, it may be a bit see-through because it's done on 14 count 8, and probably mom, I don't know, she was following the multiple strand pattern. See, there are even blends here. It might seem like it is a bit see-through on camera, but I think when you frame and hang it and put it somewhere like 2-3 meters away from you, it's not gonna be that, first of all, it's not gonna be that noticeable. Secondly, it's gonna look like it's supposed to be that way, because you know the sky, neither the sky nor the sea is rarely that like solid colored, you know. It's always, especially at the, I don't know if it's a sunset or sunrise, probably a sunset, especially at the sunset. So I think it's a gorgeous finish. It's originally it's a gold collection, so it deserves a lot of appraisal. I'm so proud of her. I don't know what's going to be the next design that she's going to choose, but yeah, just wanted to share this with you. Other than that, it's gonna be it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for leaving comments, and leaving all of your supportive words about anything, any approach that I take, any direction that I choose to follow. I sincerely am grateful for the support. If it wasn't for your support, if it weren't for your support, I wouldn't probably continue filming, because you know I'm kind of that kind of person who needs support from time to time. So yeah, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again in my next video. Stay tuned. Bye.